This show is a part of the Quite the Thing Media Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to Gamers Watch episode 31. I am Shaun, and joined next to me is Harry.
In-person podcast. Whoa!
It's happening!
It's finally happening after 9 months of recording this show. Me and Shaun are in the same room, and I've just said to Shaun prior to this that it's going to be difficult because I spend most of my time of an evening editing this show where it's editing me talking over Shaun. So I'm going to have to be on my...
It's going to be very difficult not to talk over each other.
Thanks for that. It's going to be very difficult, and I'm going to have to be on my best behaviour. But Shaun, kick off the show, the in-person show.
Okay, so if you like this podcast, and even if you don't, you can follow us on Twitter at GamersWatchCrew. If your platform of choice allows it, please leave us a review. And also, don't buy our bloody merch.
Because we saw the shipping costs of a mug. The mug...
$18.
The mug costs less than the shipping. $31 for a mug. Now, we ain't letting you guys get taken for a mug. So we will be removing the merch line from our podcast Linktree, and we'll be looking for alternatives because, man alive, that's a stupid price. So yeah, we won't be pumping the merch anymore.
Now we know as well why no one was buying the merch.
Because it costs too much. Which,
yeah.
To be fair, it does make the 2 items of merch we've sold collector's editions now. One of them being myself, and the other being the only people that ever do Game in 60 Seconds, owning the other bit of merch. So Shaun, you've got to get your order in soon, because I'll be closing the merch line very, very shortly.
Well, we'll be opening another merch line.
Yeah, we will, with completely different designs.
Yeah, it'll probably be like Teespring or something, I imagine.
Yeah. So until then, don't buy our merch, because we don't want to be charging you like $800 for a phone case.
We would rather you just
give us that money.
Directly transfer us that money via PayPal or something.
Yeah, please, if you're going to buy merch, please put food on our tables instead, because Okay, Shaun, have I told you how much money that we made off of the 2 shirts that we sold?
I guess it's going to be like 50p.
Yeah, we made £3.
Woo!
Yeah, and considering that I bought one of the shirts...
We made £1.50 basically.
We made £1.50 off of those 2 shirts that we sold. So yeah, don't buy our merch. Speaking of the only 2 people that ever play Game in 60 Seconds, hello Zoe, hello Bleep. We are going to start this episode with Game in 60 Seconds. Now Shaun, what was your clue last week?
Last week mine was, shit, looks like I'm walking the rest of the way.
And my clue was... Oh my god, I had it. It was...
You've forgotten it.
I've got something in my eye and I'm sweeping up all these clocks. It was something along that.
That was close, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Shaun, what was your answer?
Mine was Last Stop.
And also, just to let you guys know, it's now been 24 hours and we've had no response back with a correct answer for Shaun's clue from Zoe and Bleep. So
slacking.
You lose.
Either slacking or getting distracted by, what was it, cat food, normal food, and something else that was probably more entertaining.
Adult life. So my clue, you got it literally immediately. My clue, which was I've got something in my eye and I'm cleaning up a load of clocks, was Blinks the Time Sweeper. And I like that one. I think it was good. It's a lot better than my clue this week, which is horrendous.
Go on.
My clue this week is that Columbus bloke, man, can he tell a good story. That Columbus bloke, oh boy howdy, can he tell a story and a half.
See, if this game is pronounced in a different way to what we think it is, that just completely falls apart.
Yes, it does. So the second part of that clue is that Jesus bloke without a T at the end. Oh man, can he tell a good story.
Take your pick.
Take your pick, however you pronounce this game. Jesus without a T or Columbus, boy howdy can they tell a good story. Shaun, what's your clue?
My clue is, my kid is just clumsy as fuck, tripping over every fucking thing.
Which is like my life right now.
My kid is just clumsy as fuck, tripping over every fucking thing.
Yeah,
That's my clue.
That essentially describes my life with an almost 2-year-old. He can fall over almost nothing at will. So thanks for searing that image straight back into my mind there, Shaun.
So this is why I won't be a good parent, because
You'll laugh.
I
laugh all
I
the
will
time.
piss myself laughing.
Yeah.
I won't help.
I laugh all the time, and I feel terrible when I see him give me those doughy eyes as if to say, "You are a monster. Give me attention," and I am creased up laughing because he's got a pencil stuck up his nose. No, it's never been quite that bad. It's not at that point yet. Shaun,
Not quite Homer Simpson.
no, before I admit to multiple counts of child abuse, shall we move on to Game Pass or Play? Because this is my most anticipated Game Pass or Play of all time.
Even more than Final Fantasy.
Even more than Final Fantasy, because this is the reason that I bought a Series X over a Series S. And having seen a Series S for the first time today, that console is so small. Let's talk about Flight Simulator. I can't believe I did that. Why did I do that, Shaun?
I don't know.
Flight Simulator.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Sorry, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is the official full version of that game
By Team Asobo.
by Team Asobo. Now, Shaun,
Powered by Black something.ai, wherever it comes up with the opening credits.
I don't know, but it's just very good, and I want to talk about how good it is. But you have some grievances to air about this game.
A couple, only a couple.
Can we get them out of the way first so we can talk about how good it is for the rest of it?
Okay, so the game's a bit broken.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Very slight thing we need to talk about
In some
is
areas.
that the game's busted.
No, it's basically, it depends how you play it and what mode you play, whether you'll ever even come across these sort of things.
Wait, hang on a second, Shaun, because I thought that this wasn't a game and it didn't have multiple modes or checkpoints or activities that you could do.
Oh shit, fuck.
I thought that it was just you fly around aimlessly and there was no objectives to this simulation. So the part of the game,
segment 4.
yeah, the part of the game that was broken was the bush trials.
The bush, is it bush trips or
bush
trials?
trips.
Bush trips are a bit broken because you'll get halfway through, which these bush trips can take up to 9 hours roughly. You can get halfway through and then it will just forget whereabouts on the trip you are and start you at an airport further back. And also the GPS thing on your actual plane will just break, so you can't even use that to navigate.
So I want
back.
to make a slight caveat here, is that I haven't done any of the bush trips. So this is purely Shaun's experience.
I'd done the Denmark one completely fine. That was the
Yeah.
first one I'd done. The second one was the Balkans, it was a weird name. And that one just...
Sorry if we just
completely
offended
fucked.
anyone from that place.
Well, there's two that I've tried
Baltic
after
and
Denmark.
Balkans.
No, Balkans, and one's like Palatogia or Kalapongia. Or...
Let's not insult any more people. Just tell the story, Shaun, before we get cancelled like those dirty Mexicans did last week.
So basically, I got halfway through one of them and I stopped playing because it was nighttime. Went to play it the next day and it started me at the very first airport you start at. And I was like, that's not right. My save data should be at about 5 airports in by now. And after that, I reloaded it at the 5th airport and my sat-nav thing was just completely fucked. So the heading on the nav log was 138 degrees and the GPS thing on my plane was trying to send me at 224 degrees. So I couldn't use that. So I then tried to restart it again and the nav log disappeared. So I couldn't even see see descriptions of what I was supposed to be flying to. And I then thought, well, I'll try it on the other console, on the Series S, and see if it's just for some reason Series X playing up. And it doesn't, you can't use...
It doesn't cross-migrate.
You can't sync saves for bush trips because for some reason, I think, they're saved to the expanded storage thing instead of your actual save data.
Which
So
also,
if you delete a bush trip to make space, you will delete any and all progress you've ever made for that bush trip.
yeah, and another thing that somebody found as well is if you cancel an update of Flight Simulator, it cancels everything and you have to reinstall large chunks of the game again.
Wow.
But apparently that is because of the way that it's had to be ported from PC to Xbox. Oh, we've spoken to a game dev behind Hypnospace before, and there are a lot of intricacies behind porting games. It isn't just a simple people slap it on, hope it works. So there are always going to be teething problems. But apparently this bush trips is an issue on PC as well as on Xbox.
Yeah, because at first I was like, that's a slight annoyance. I'll wait for them. I'm guessing it's like a launch sort of bug. I'll wait for them to fix it and do bush trip again. But then I found forum entries of the exact same problem on the PC version from a year ago. So it's just not been fixed.
Not been fixed, not been looked at, which is quite frustrating. Maybe now that it's on Xbox with enough vocal people behind it, maybe something might get looked at.
Yeah, because in my the way I view it, the bush trips are basically like the story mode of the game, I guess.
Yeah,
because it is designated flight plans.
Yeah.
And that, and it's just been broke for a year, and they haven't addressed it at all.
No, which isn't great.
Worked on other bits. But the other thing that's slightly broken is if you like to play in cockpit view and use the actual like dials and buttons as if you're simulating yourself as a pilot, they don't work.
No, because Shaun, you have gone to the lengths of reading flight manuals for the planes that you're flying.
I read the manual for the Garmin G1000, which is the
twin screen.
The like autopilot GPS
because
screen.
One of those. So I was fiddling about the buttons the other day while I was flying. I believe it was the Cessna. Oh, I forgot.
The Cessna 172 has the G1000.
Yes, it was the Cessna 172. I was flying along. I was pressing a few buttons. I turned the battery off, and I was like, "Oh shit! I need to turn the battery back on." I pressed the wrong button. Click the battery back on, and then the second screen of the Garmin wouldn't come back on, and I had to like try and troubleshoot on the actual Garmin website as to how to get the second screen running. I was paying too much attention to that, and I crashed into the side of Mount Fuji. So yeah, don't do that. But it was quite annoying because I had to go through the actual like proper procedure of startup again of that screen. And if I'd done what Shaun had done and read up about it beforehand, I would have easily been able to figure that out.
Well, I just never touched the battery switch for the plane while I'm in midair.
Yeah. Just a very quick note to anyone out there who is a budding flight simulator or a budding pilot in the future. Don't turn the power off in your plane while flying. They don't teach you that, I don't think.
They don't like staying in the air when they've got no power.
No, I don't think they teach you that because it's common fucking sense. But yeah, don't turn batteries off.
Or run the juice out of them.
But one of the things that Shaun has done is go quite in depth about how to use this system so that he can pre-plan flight routes. And yeah, they just straight up don't work for you, do they?
No. Well, the actual the G1000 itself works pretty much all the time, like setting a flight plan or changing the... I don't actually know what the things stand for. There's one button that's CDI. I know what it does, but I don't know what the fuck CDI stands for. But some of the dials, like the set altitude dial, just doesn't work half the time.
You showed me a video where you tried to adjust it by 100 increments.
Yeah, so I was at 1,200 feet. I'd set it to 1,200 feet, and then say I wanted to climb to 1,500. I'll be like, I'll just turn that 3 times, so it goes up in increments of 100 feet, and I'll turn it once, and it will just set me to like minus 44,000 feet, and I'll just plummet to the floor.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
See, the thing is I haven't got to the point where I'm using those yet, so I'm still using flaps, and I'm using... Oh my god, what is the right bumper?
Trim.
I'm still using trim and flaps in order to like control my flights, and then the flights that I'm planning I do manually, and then I'm listening to air traffic control, but I wish that I listened to them more because I always come into landings too hot and I have to do a loop around. However, knowing that the systems in place in order to properly simulate don't work, I don't know if that's to do with it being the controller.
I was going to say, I've got a feeling just because of the way you use them, it's the controller, because on PC, I think by default it's the scroll wheel on the mouse.
Yeah, and you've got to scroll with the right analog stick, don't you? Yeah,
you have to you can either hold it in a direction and it'll eventually start really quickly going up, or you just press it side to side and it'll go up in steps.
I think it is to do with the controller.
Yeah, because all the PC videos I've seen of watching tutorials about how to use the different dials and that, they all work fine. So I think it's to do with the controller.
So have you got a USB keyboard and mouse?
No, I've just got these Bluetooth ones.
Can you use Bluetooth keyboard and mouse with an Xbox?
Don't think so, because Xbox doesn't have Bluetooth.
Yeah, that's a bit of a barrier. I didn't know if they came with a Bluetooth dongle that you just jump into the side.
I could get a dongle, but I'm eventually hoping to get an actual flight stick So I'll
See,
then just
my-
assign buttons to increase stuff instead of the controller.
My ops manager where I work is a keen flight simulator to the point where he had a purpose-built 747 cockpit in his living room, and he uses X-Pilot is one that he mainly uses. And for all the people out there, like, all the microtransactions in Flight Simulator come to £900. No one other than enthusiasts are paying that, and actually maybe 150 hours of an amateur photogramically reenacting a Spitfire or a Eurofighter or a 747 or an Airbus, maybe they deserve a little bit of money for that. He has spent, I think, roughly £15,000 on this hobby. Those are the people that are buying these added extras, by the way. So
Wow.
he's on it maybe 5 hours a day. He actually does it professionally, where he will fly set routes by, they're called virtual airlines, and he will actually fly like Gatwick to Charles de Gaulle, or he'll fly Gatwick to, say, Naples, or he'll do like the first leg and then a pilot will come in and take over halfway across the Atlantic. He spends a lot of time in this, and so an X-Fighter recreation of an Airbus A380 is about £400. He'll happily pay that because he knows that he's going to get his money out of it. So all the people out there saying, oh, you don't like DLC, but you're happy to pay... No, I'm not happy to pay £900 for Flight Simulator DLC, but I'm not going to. So shove that up your arse. You're wrong. All right? You're flat out wrong.
I mean, I will end up buying some things. Like I've been eyeing up the Spitfire for a start.
Yeah.
I really want to fly the Spitfire, and also there's one, I think it's just called Enhanced Airport Graphics or something. And It's
Yeah.
like £11.
Yeah,
I've been tempted to get that.
It redoes most of the airports.
Yeah, basically it
around
changes
the
like all
world.
the textures for them.
Yeah, but my original point is that... oh my god, I forgot my original point. What? Oh, he
It's
plays...
It's not
Yeah, he
just
plays...
microtransactions.
He plays Flight Simulator, and as part of him playing Flight Simulator, he plays it keyboard and mouse, not just controller, and he hasn't had any of the issues with the dials turning. That was my original point.
Right.
Because I spoke to him about this and said, oh, my friend's using the controller, and his first thing was, yeah, it's the controller. He said, his exact words were, if you're flying only using the dials, don't bother with a controller and use a keyboard and mouse instead.
Yeah,
So I think
I'm
that
gonna have to find a way.
I think that the way that the game is made is that the keyboard and mouse is so much better if you are purely flying in simulation mode, and the controller's better for people like me who are keen amateurs that want to get into it but don't yet have the money or the time to invest in a flight stick, because I want a flight stick, but I'm not going to pay over the odds. I'm probably just going to get the Thrustmaster, which is like 80 quid, more than likely.
Yeah.
However, he's not had these same issues, so I think it is purely just a bad controller scheme layout. But that's all the negatives out of the way, because this game is fucking phenomenal. It looks incredible. It is just so cathartic. I love it. It's fucking great. It's definitely a game. It puts every other game graphically to shame. All of those twats out there who are zooming in on the fucking cars on the ground, they're pausing the game and they're zooming all the way down 35,000 feet to go, the car doesn't look good. Yeah, because they traded off high fidelity traffic for a photorealistic remake of the entire fucking globe with live weather, to the point where I sent my dad a picture of me in a cockpit over where I used to live and he thought that I was flying a plane. Like, you fucking idiots. You morons. You dumbass pieces of shit. Obviously, the cars aren't going to look great, because guess what? This isn't Traffic Simulator 2020. It's Flight Simulator 2020. And when you're in the fucking sky 35,000 feet in the air, you don't go, oh, I can see the alloy wheels of that Toyota down there. You fucking idiots. You morons.
So this is
the positive
side. The positive side of doing in-person recording, because
you can see me get angry.
I saw the spit literally come out of your mouth and down onto your chin then.
Just wiping the fluid away. So yeah, if you are some absolute bell cheese who decides to take screenshots of a car in a game called Flight Simulator, where people are posting these photos, right? And it's like billowing clouds over Mount Fuji with 2 life reenactments of planes modelled, right? And they're like, oh, but if I zoom in 9,000 times, this tree doesn't have real leaves. Yeah, no fucking shit, you moron! But yeah, the game's great. I'm really enjoying it. I like to just throw it on every like half an hour before I go to bed, and I'll just be like, I'm going to fly just across Devon today, and I'll just like take off from RAF Chivener and I'll land in Exeter Airport, and I'll be like, oh, that was nice. Or I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna just go to French Polynesia, or oh, I want to go see Fifi Islands where they recorded The Beach, the film with Leonardo DiCaprio. Or oh, I tell you what, I'm gonna fly over Hollywood and see the film set where Mankind was thrown 16 feet off a Hell in a Cell into an announcer's table.
16 feet? Not that far.
It was.
That's not that far.
16 feet off the Hell in a Cell into an announcer's table? That's pretty far, mate.
That's only like 2.5 meters.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Hell in a Cell's bigger
I'll
than
take
that.
you up to the roof and I'll push you off and be like, was that okay, Shaun? Was that... It's only 2.5 U's.
No, but like, from watching wrestling my whole life, picturing Hell in a Cell and then just thinking 2.5 meters, it's like, oh, I pictured it
I
being
could
bigger.
do that. Yeah, I could totally be chucked off Hell in a
I'll
Cell by
Shane
The
McMahon
Undertaker. How did we get onto
Because you
Mankind?
brought up Mankind
No,
again.
I didn't. Mankind brought himself up because he's going to be appearing in season 3 of the Gamers Watch podcast, episode 1. I now have to make that happen. But yeah, Shaun, other than the broken, busted shit, how are you enjoying Flight Sim?
I'm loving it. I am still playing, even though I had my little meltdown.
Shout out to McDonald's there.
I had my little meltdown when the bush trips were fucking up.
You did. You messaged me like, I think I'm done with Flight Simulator now.
I genuinely lost all enthusiasm for that because it was like in the morning.
Your message to me was, well, I'm definitely not getting a flight stick now.
100% not getting a flight stick now.
Oh, let me get my tiny little violin out.
No, it was just, it was really deflating because it was like 7 hours worth of my time that I'd spent in the past 2 days just
However,
gone. But
how much fun did you have with Dutch?
I then started playing it again like 5 hours later.
Yeah, and also it birthed a new version of you.
Did it?
Yeah, your Mexican.
Oh,
your Mexican.
I thought you meant
persona.
my little meltdown.
No, your Mexican
Yeah,
persona.
but it birthed El Sharif.
Because you had a little online session with Dutch and the boys over at the Widmeek, the Midweek Mix Up podcast. Also, massive congratulations on the 1,000 subs, guys. Huge, amazing, and also great to see the General C on your show the other day. That was awesome. But yeah, you had like a little online session where you were all flying about together, and it.
Yeah, we went to Everest and the airport. It's not really an airport.
Kathmandu.
It's literally like a landing strip.
Yeah.
By base camp, and it started off well, and then me and Dutch tried to take off Boeings from it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which were wider than the runway.
Yeah.
That didn't go so well. And then we got the stunt planes, what are they called, 330 LT or extra or something. And we took off. Instead of going to Everest, though, we went the other way and we just started racing through the valley.
Through the valleys, yeah.
Which was amazing. And I want to do that in the Grand Canyon now, racing that. But yeah, it was good fun. I also always lose track of time on Flight Simulator.
How long were you on it for?
What, that night?
Yeah.
That night was like, I don't know, it was a couple of hours that night. But there was one time I came back from my parents because I took the Series S to show it to my dad. And I was like, I fancy playing it a bit longer. So I wanted to see Castaway Cay, which is Disney's privately owned island.
Yeah.
They own
So
an
you
island.
took off from Gatwick.
No, I took off from Miami because it's sort of off the coast of Miami in Florida, and took off from Miami, planned the trip to go to Castaway Cay and then back to Florida, and it said it was like 2.5 hour flight, I think it was. I was like, that's a bit long, so I might just get to Castaway Cay and then call it night because it's like 11 o'clock at night. And then I remember starting the flight and then Lucia waking up asking me if I'm going to be going to bed soon, and I was like, yeah, I'll just get to Castaway Cay. And then about a minute later the ATC said I'm cleared for landing. I was like, oh. I've flown way over it. I'm already in Orlando International.
Whoops daisy. it blows my mind how good the game looks, to the point where I've actually now fooled my dad into thinking that over lockdown I have taken online piloting courses and I was just flying a plane over where he lives, just casually taking pictures, like, oh yeah, just here
I'll
I
just
am.
lean over the dash for a sec, pilot.
Let me just stretching out. Let me just get my phone outside quickly for a better picture. But yeah, I'm just massively enjoying it. I think it's been absolutely great. I could talk about it literally all day and not get bored about it.
It is also...
It's a game.
Well, it's more than a game, really. It's its own, platform.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it will change when Maverick launches on it.
Well, there was... when I was on with Dutch the other day, he was looking at... I think it was planned updates they're doing. They've got an unannounced partnership, apparently.
Ooh.
Which I'm hoping Star Wars, but I imagine it's going to be something a bit more grounded and realistic. It'll probably be like partnering with a certain type of plane manufacturer.
Yeah, like Lockheed Martin or someone. To have like the SR-71 in there.
They've got helicopters apparently planned for 2022.
Yep, saw that.
There was another type of mode that was planned. I'll have to find the list, but for the next few months, they've got one or two big updates a month already planned. So, and it's only a year old, is it?
Just over a year old, yeah.
Just over a year old, and proper simulators usually take a good year or two before
they have their first big update.
Well, before the content creators get really stuck in and stuff comes out. So it's only going to grow from where it is now, and I can already see me not getting bored of it for quite a while in the state it's in now.
It's very exciting.
Especially when I get that flight stick I'm never going to buy.
I know. 100% not getting it.
Or I'm going to get a wired mouse, I think, first.
Yeah, try that first.
And see how that
gets on.
Because it probably is the controller for the dials, I imagine.
I'm fairly 100% sure.
And it'll be a lot easier with a mouse to quickly switch between different dials, because it is literally just click.
Can I just ask you something very stupid? Right. If you're in cockpit mode and you want to click on something and the cursor isn't up on the screen, do you have to click the stick in and then unclick it in order for the little dot to appear? Because it really annoys. Sometimes you'll look around the cockpit and the little dot won't be there.
So yeah, I think that's also a bug.
Because
the little dot's supposed to be there, I think.
Sometimes when I press the button to get the dot, it nosedives me into the floor.
Yeah, so I think the little dot's supposed to be there all the time when you're not in cursor mode, but for some reason it bugs out every now and then, so you have to quickly go into cursor mode and out of it for the dot to appear.
That's quite annoying.
And that reminds me of another bug as well that really annoys me. So when you go into cursor mode, it's not supposed you obviously got to use the left stick to move around the toolbar and that, so it's not supposed to affect your flight stick, and it still controls the flight stick. So I've done it several times where I've gone into cursor mode, gone down to change one of my panels, and I've just gone into a nosedive.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
It's happened to me a few times as well.
Controller.
I hope that is just because of the controller not being the preferred way of people playing.
I think it will be, because with a keyboard and mouse, you don't need to have a cursor mode, because you have a mouse.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So, as excited as I've always been about Flight Simulator, there is a game that's launching on Game Pass in October.
One other thing as well.
Oh god.
Is Flight Sim.
Is it good?
What? Oh yeah, it's cute. Yeah, it's funny.
Those were noises.
It's funny. What have been your favourite photogrammetry gone wrong sort of things you've found so far? Because I've got two.
Okay, you go with yours first.
Okay, so first one, if you go to Universal Resort Orlando...
Is it the Mickey?
No, that's Disney.
Oh, sorry. They're all the same to me.
Universal. And then go to Universal Studios, find Springfield and look at the Krusty the Clown head that's there.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's horrific. So, in real life, it's a big Krusty head.
Okay.
And you walk through his mouth to get to the, ride queue.
Right.
In the game, his head's half sunk into the ground. His eyes are only, half above the ground, and they're red.
Oh, my God.
And and his hair's, stretched up on his head, so it looks like a deformed clown.
Jesus.
It's horrific.
Well...
And the other one is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, because it hasn't been caught, so it's just a flat pancake on the floor.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. I have seen that. My favourite that I've found so far is I went on holiday to Cancun a few years ago, and I was going up the Cancun hotel strip, and there is just a cube of water that has randomly been generated in the middle of the hotel strip.
What?
Just bang, slapped in the middle, where obviously Bing Maps has had a bit of an issue, on a specific day.
Yeah.
And so there is, a clear blue patch of, perfect ocean, but the game thinks that it's not ocean and thinks that it's just terrain. And so
Right.
there are just buildings in this like bright blue crystal clear area of water in the middle of the island. That's been my like, oh look, that's not very good. But there's not been a huge amount of those. And also, we need to remember, they've rendered the entire world.
Was it like, oh, this hotel could use a pool?
Pretty much.
Bam!
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
Slab in a pool. Oh, and fine, I will stop talking about Flight Simulator after
That's
this.
okay.
I done. I
Back
worked.
for Blood's what we're talking about next, by the way.
Yeah, coming soon.
Eventually. In episode 32 of Gamers Watch
Oh.
podcast.
I wanted to do an article on places to visit that aren't
Points of
landmarked.
interest.
Yeah, which you can read now on
Yes.
autogaming.net.
Lognet.
Why did they think the Roman Colosseum didn't need to be landmarked?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It makes no sense. It's one of the most famous places in the world.
I know.
And it's fully rendered. It's not like Leaning Tower of Pisa where they've just slapped a gladiator flat texture.
I have no idea.
That don't make sense. I spent
Why did my local co-op not get a point of interest? I'm there all the time.
I spent about half an hour thinking I was just spelling Colosseum wrong when searching for it.
Just Google Map. Sorry, just Bing Map it.
It's Italian, isn't it? They spell Colosseum differently. So I spelled it the Italian way, our way. I'm pretty sure there's probably an American way to spell it. And then I just went on the world map, went to Rome, and I was like, it's not landmarked.
Womp womp.
And why is the Pope not landmarked? He should be like a roaming landmark. So wherever
so all the children can run away
Popes-
from him. Quick! Hide your historic records of child abuse. The Pope's nearby.
I can see him
Everything
coming.
is fine. Don't worry, children. We just give her the friendly hugs. Right, before I get into...
Don't accept his lollipops.
Before I start another child abuse segment on this show, can we please talk about Back for Blood? Because I'm desperate to hear about it. And also, guys, I'm not going to talk for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to shut up because I applied for the beta and didn't get into it. And then I was too lazy to ask someone for a code.
I offered you a
Yeah,
code.
I know, but I was like, oh, I'm tired. And I've not been feeling well the last few days. I've had no sense of taste. It's been really weird. And I've had flu-like symptoms. It's been really bizarre.
Honestly, that's very
Yeah.
strange.
And all the old people I know have died. Really weird. Sean, can you please talk to me about Back for Blood? Because I'm desperate to hear about it. Oh, also, quick, before I start, I spoke about the fucking morons that were talking about, oh, look, the cars don't look very good. If you tweet that Back for Blood needs a patch, if you absolute smeg-ridden morons tweet saying, I'll only play Back for Blood if they patch it, yeah, it is a beta. Beta, it's a test. It's a beta test. It's not released. It's after alpha. It's a beta. The game isn't released. It isn't released until October, Morty.
I was gonna say that sounded like Rick.
Morty, the game isn't released, Morty. Like, you morons. Take the disc that this game will be sold on and shove it up your butthole.
Scud up,
Butthole. Shove it up there so far that you cough out shards, right? You morons. Of course the game needs to be patched because it isn't finished. And to the absolute dick waffle out there who is currently sharing video of him shooting cars and, oh, the glass doesn't explode. Oh, it's not immersive. It is a game about fucking zombies, you testicle. So Sean, talk to me about Back for Blood, please, because I'm excited to hear about it.
I love how it was singular.
Yeah, you're not good enough to have two.
One testicle.
You absolute Bobby one nut. Go.
Okay, so the Left 4 Dead 3 early access beta.
Yeah.
It's so good. It feels how Left 4 Dead should have progressed with more sequels.
Yeah.
Basically.
Without fans having to do an update 10 years after the game came out.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So
There's cards in it. I'm excited to hear about
I was
the
going to
cards.
say, that is my favourite addition, is the cards. So basically, you create a deck with these different cards, and what there'll be is different perks or bonuses. So 20% reload speed, 10% health, copper, which is sort of like this currency you find throughout the level. And then at each safe house, you can spend the copper in this little shop.
Cool.
To either get a sight for your weapon for better aiming or buy a new
Wait, you
weapon.
can upgrade weapons on the fly?
No, at each safe house.
In the actual level, you can upgrade your weapons as you go along.
Yeah, so there's copper. There's like little piles of copper you'll find just throughout the levels.
Mate.
And then when you get to the safe house, there's a little like crate, and if you click on the crate, you can buy attachments for your weapons, or you can buy new weapons. So like we saw like an AK-47 once in the crate. I found a axe and then went around swinging an axe for the next level.
As you would, obviously you would.
But yeah, so some cards can like increase the amount of copper you find. And then once you've made your deck, you go into the game. You pick one card to start with. Yep. I'm not sure if so say you've got 13 cards in your deck, it will only show 5 that you can pick from. So I'm not sure if it's always the first 5 that you've chosen in your deck.
Or it's a randomizer.
Or if it randomizes. But you pick one, and then that bonus is applied to your team.
Right.
But the zombies then draw a card.
Oh, it's so good. That is such a good idea.
And they can be anything. I think they draw 2 cards and you actually get to choose which one they play.
Right.
But it can be anything from like a challenge, so you need to find this item during the level, and if you bring it to the safe house with you, you get this bonus copper. Or it'll be something like, every 2 minutes a horde's going to come after you no matter what.
See, the way that you explained it to me, and I know I said I wouldn't talk very much in this, but there's a message that you sent me and Dunks in our DM group where you played the same section of a level twice, but with 2 different cards, and it played out completely differently.
Yeah, so there's a level with a bridge, and you basically have to get across the bridge to get to this big ship where the army's waiting on the other side for you. And one time with Dutch, it was a horde. The title was like Cinematic Finale or something. And basically, as soon as you get to the bridge, a horde of zombies just come after it, like 50 odd zombies. So you just sprint and you basically run across this bridge with all these zombies chasing you. And then another time done it, and it was a fog card, so you can basically see like hardly anything.
Wait,
and you then have
does
to go
the fog card mean the game isn't releasing for like 9 years? Yeah. And the trailer is just a boat
It's just
going.
one trailer.
Hello, breaker. If you can hear this game will never be released. Over.
The Jack Matthews card.
I'm going to have to do the edit bit like I did last time with the crackly noise over that, aren't I?
Yep.
So there's a fog card.
So the fog card basically is, as it says, there's like fog everywhere. So your visibility is ridiculously low compared to normal. So you have to proper creep across the bridge, because if you sprint, you'll just run into zombies.
Wait, so is the card just for that specific bit, or is it for the entire level?
I'm not sure if they stack. I think they must. Well, it must be for the specific bit, because the cinematic card said in the description it's sprint across the bridge with a horde of zombies chasing you. Sort of thing.
Cool.
But I don't know if maybe certain areas will have like dedicated cards that can come up, and then other levels will just be generic.
Well, here's
This
something
happens.
that would be cool then. Do you get to watch replays of the level you've played?
Not that I know of.
Because if they had something like a cinematic ending, I think it would be awesome if they
To have the camera.
like we do every Wednesday on the Gamers Watch Point 5 episode, to have like highlights of your level that you just played, and with the cinematic ending it like does different like camera shots and stuff. Or like if someone gets downed, it would like show them like being devoured by all the zombies as you will like run away. That would be quite cool. But again, this is just me reaching for something that possibly isn't needed. Other than that, how did the gunplay feel?
The gunplay feels good. It is really responsive. The melee weapons I love. So
They feel chunky.
There's one character. Yeah, the axe does. Yeah. Wow. There's one character who has a katana or a machete, like one of those sort of weapons.
They're the same.
I think that's his starter weapon, because
You saw samurais all the time roaming through tribal Japan with huge fucking machetes.
It's just a big blade, basically, but I'm not sure what it's
knife
exactly is.
Knifey boy, knifey stabby stab.
And you literally just hold right trigger in like a group of zombies, and you just carve into them. You do have stamina though. Okay. And the one tip I will give if you're using a melee weapon is don't do what I do and run into a horde of zombies, not realising you have stamina, run out of stamina because you've just been swinging this massive weapon around.
And then not be able to run away.
And then, not be able to run away when they overwhelm you.
And then go, Dutch! Dutch, please!
I'm down again.
Oh, that's alright, pet, I'm coming to get you. Mate, don't worry, mate, I'm coming to get you.
He hasn't called me pet yet.
Dutch to the rescue! And in he rides and comes and saves the day.
Brushes off my sombrero for me.
Thank you, Dutch, you're my only hope. You're there with your buns
Gently,
in and your white dress.
Adjust it back on my head.
I've got you, brother. Don't worry. Oh, thank you, Dutch. You're so brave.
Thanks, Gringle. And off I go with my cigar.
So yeah, don't do that.
No, don't do
For
that.
anyone else out there, that specific thing we just mentioned, where you run in, slice up zombies, get devoured, don't then call for a Dutch bloke who lives in Tyne and Weir to come and save you and rescue you as you're dressed as a Mexican Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Don't
pretty
do
much.
that.
Don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't do
Which
that.
is what most people would probably do anyway.
Yeah.
So just don't do that.
But back to the card system.
Yes.
It feels, I think one of the reasons I like it so much is it feels like some of the sort of zombie board games that you can play.
Yes.
So like I think Last Night on Earth has that sort of card system, but I might be remembering it wrong. But it's also some of my favourite games are like Pandemic, Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, where you have cards that you have to draw each turn to help you, but then there's also cards you can draw that completely fuck you and the board like just destroys any progress you've made. It feels like that, which is really good.
So it doesn't feel slapped on.
No. It feels
integral,
like I said,
to the
a natural
game.
progression to how Left 4 Dead should have gone with further sequels.
Oh, I'm excited.
And it means that you can just play the campaign on an endless loop, and
it will change
most of the
each
time
time.
it will be different each time.
Oh, that sounds good. Did you play any solo or did you play it purely multiplayer?
Purely multiplayer. I haven't tried the PvP yet because I've been enjoying the campaign too much.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm very excited. And again, out on Game Pass this October. Properly cannot wait for this game. When I saw that it was dropping for Game Pass, I was like, oh, I'm definitely. 'Cause I was going to probably buy it anyway. I was like, oh, that's probably just paid off my Game Pass.
Well, it was that Battlefield and something else that was rumoured before it actually got announced at E3.
Far Cry 6.
Far Cry, and I was just after the Battlefield stuff,
which has now been announced that it's going to be a games as a service.
Yeah.
Saw that coming a fucking mile off. They didn't learn from Anthem, clearly.
But after all the Battlefield stuff just before the Xbox conference, I was just thinking, I hope it's Back 4 Blood. I don't want Battlefield on Game Pass because it's just I'm not going to play it.
No, Back 4
But
Blood.
Back 4 Blood is it's amazing.
We'll have to set up some Gamers Watch community days with it as well, because I know that a lot of our community have also been playing Back 4 Blood, and I know that a lot of the midweek mix-up guys have been playing it as well. It's just, oh god, it looks so good. I watched Dutch's video of the 4K gameplay the other day. Even for a game that's in open beta, it looks so good. Stylized, it looks visceral, just looks fun.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just pure fun. If I had to be nitpicky, and it might be different in the actual full game, but some of the like special zombies don't feel overly special, or their appearance isn't made special, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
that
like
makes sense.
so like there's a section where you have to defend this church, and you can actually bore up the windows and that, and the zombies will basically like COD Zombies, the original one, where they'll break the barriers down, and there's this big zombie who's really tall, and he's got a massive fuck off arm that will just grab you and lift you up, but he walks with the rest of the horde. And I was just thinking, it would have been really cool if there was like a cinematic moment where like the music either dies down or it picks up, and you can see him through the window just gradually making his way there,
cool.
instead of there's a boss type one out the window, just everyone shoot him and he's dead.
But that might change.
Sort of like in Left 4 Dead, how the witch, you could hear her crying and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
I haven't come across any like moments like that with the bosses. Apart from the tank guy, you can just hear him charging from a distance sort of thing.
Hopefully that changes then.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Just because it creates more of a like tense, fuck, how are we going to approach this?
Well, I think
sort of...
the thing that I love about Left 4 Dead series is the atmosphere within the games.
Yeah.
You always felt on edge. Always.
Unless you had the jockey come after you, in which case I just couldn't stop laughing because his voice is fucking stupid.
But I am just buzzing for this game. I'm just a big fan of the series of Left 4 Dead, and this just seems like it's taking that natural progression, like you said earlier, to somewhere where it's going to open the game up to a lot more people. I know that the devs behind Back 4 Blood are properly excited by it being on Game Pass, because their game is going to be instantly seen by close to 20-odd million people. So yeah, fingers crossed in October we all start playing it and it's successful, because The Ascent, which we'll be talking about next week in our season finale.
Oh yeah, it's the season finale.
The Ascent made $5 million in its first week.
Wow.
Now, that must mean then that Game Pass can make money for developers.
Strange. I've heard different from people.
Yeah, I saw the PS Gamer saying that he doesn't understand Game Pass because how can it make money? But yeah, The Ascent just made $5 million in a week. So yeah, Back 4 Blood's going to be a fucking hit. It's going to be great. And just before Halloween as well. It's going to rake it in. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, it is just for Halloween.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Week before Halloween.
That's my Halloween sorted this year for once.
Timing or what?
No Treehouse of Horror marathons this time.
I'm actually going to be away that week as well on holiday. So
yeah. I will be playing Back 4 Blood.
I won't be. Now, Shaun.
Yes.
A game that nobody's going to be playing is your Enter the Quaintrix this week. You haven't... Normally, you tell me what it's going to be, but you haven't actually told me what the game's going to be this week.
Plot twist.
What?
I don't have a game. I've got a different sort of game to play.
What?
It's going to be a guess what Shaun's holding.
What?
It's only possible because we're recording in the same room.
Right.
So obviously you can see what I'm holding.
Okay. Did you just not have another game to pick from?
It was a mix of that and I wanted to show you something. I thought, I'll integrate it into the podcast.
Oh, okay. Okay, so do we have a time limit on this?
No, because I don't know how I'm going to describe it on air for people to actually guess.
Okay, so you describe what the next part of the audio podcast is going to be, Shaun.
I could just like scratch the surface of whatever it is and to be like, that sounds like that.
Right. I'm so confused.
But basically,
okay, explain to me that on this audio podcast that does not yet have a video segment, what we're about to do.
I'm going to get an object out
Right.
that you haven't seen yet.
Okay.
And then
what?
I was just going to somehow think of a way to get people to guess what it is. And then I can tell them next week because the object would have been used by then.
Right.
Actually, the object would have been used by the time this episode airs because it's going to get used Wednesday.
Right.
And this will air Saturday. Okay, let's go. I'm going to get my drawer out. I've sellotaped it because, as you know, these drawers don't fucking stay shut.
If you can hear this happening, Shaun is unsellotaping his drawers.
So,
I'm going to close my eyes. Right,
it's going to seem even weirder when you
if you
do that.
Put my hand out. And I'm going to try and guess what it is first.
Okay, right.
Okay.
I'm placing it in his hand now.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, I know what this is immediately. It's got a hinge on it. No way! Mate, that's pretty intense. Shannon's going to fucking kill me. Because I've not got one of these. Let me just give everyone a clue. If you can hear that.
Yeah, got it.
Mate, everyone else is getting these at the moment. She's going to go fucking nuts at me. Because, yeah, I haven't got one of those for her yet.
I'm going to hide that back in here.
You can probably guess what that is from...
Get the tape. Tape's busted.
Wow.
New tape.
Congratulations.
Well, it's not over yet.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't actually said yes, so... That might also slightly give
I'm also
away
hoping
things.
she's not eavesdropping into this podcast now.
Yeah, wouldn't that be embarrassing? If she saw your cock ring that you just got. Okay. It was very small.
Okay. That's
Wow.
Enter the Quaintrix for this week.
Wow. Or you could say that one day soon it'll be Enter the Quaintrixes. That gives it away a little bit, because there'll be two.
Oh, yeah,
see.
yeah, that makes sense.
I think everyone knows by now what it is.
Well, I think from the overly obvious hints, I don't
Yeah.
think the sound was enough.
No. Shannon is going to kill me, mate.
Enter the Quaintrixes, though, has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, it does. I'm really annoyed because she's been banging on about this since we had our baby. Oh, everyone else is. Oh.
I thought you were.
No, she was like, well, you're never actually going to plan it, the wedding. Oh, I really gave it away then. She was like, what's the point in it being a thing if we're not doing anything about it? So she's like, fuck it. Also, I didn't actually buy her a thing that you've got.
Oh, right, I thought you did.
No,
I swear I remember seeing a picture.
Oh, yeah, she bought her own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because not all the listeners will know this, but I'm broke. Now, before I look at my bank account and cry, Shaun, can we just move on very quickly? No, but seriously, mate, congratulations. And also, I don't want to plan a stag do.
I've already got it planned.
Oh, that makes my life a lot easier.
I'm just going to go Thorpe Park.
Wait, I'm like pre-naming myself the man to do with the thing that I'm not going to say. Because there might be one person like, what could he mean? What could he possibly be talking about? I'm very sorry if I just offended anyone that sounds like that, by the way. But as offensive as I am, it will never be as bad as what the Juventus women tweeted out this past week. All right. So as far as I'm concerned, I can do whatever the fuck I want as long as I don't put a cone on my head and slant my eyes and post an emoji to match it. Really, we can do whatever we want. But
I mean, I'm glad they've done it because my dirty Mexican comment would have been way higher. That got buried,
brushed right under. There was one Mexican guy that was like, "Dude, that's over the line." Oh, look at Juventus! Look what they've done, gringo. That's much worse. So thank you, Juventus women. You saved the day.
I still can't believe they've done that.
No, if you don't know what we're talking about, don't even search it up because it will make you stupider by looking at it.
It's so bad.
Now, let's move on to our last segment. No, but seriously, mate, congratulations. Segment 5 is if we could take one Sony game over to Xbox, and that could be one game or an IP, what would we choose? We're not going to go into detail about this very much. It's just going to be, we say the game, and then that's pretty much it, and we say
cut.
A very quick, I would like it to be, and then it's going to end before we even say anything. It's okay, we truncate the silence.
I thought you were going to say your thing, that's why
No. I waited for you to burp.
Oh, thanks.
I can see you brewing a burp, so cheers for making my life editing a little bit more difficult, because I'll have to decide if I keep this in or not, or if I end it now or whatever.
Okay.
So, Shaun, what would your PlayStation IP or title be? And I'll tell you what, because I really wanted to use the timer function.
I thought you were going to guess it then. You were going to be like, and why is it?
Why is it Knack 2?
Mine's very...
So, you're going to say the name of the game on go.
Was it Knack? I know what it's going to be.
And then you're going to describe why. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. What's the game?
Ratchet and Clank.
And there we stop it.
Because everyone knows why I would want Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. I'm ashamed that I even had to ask you that, Shaun. Yeah, that is pretty much...
yeah, I'd want Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Because it's Insomniac and it's Ratchet and Clank. It's a platformer.
Yeah,
it's a childish platformer.
You actually get to play it on a 2-week break, don't you, as well?
Yeah, finally.
Yay!
I've had it sat on my PS5 for months.
Shaun gets to play a PlayStation game for once. Woo!
And I've still got to play Horizon before the next one comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Although I've got a little longer now that it's been delayed till next year.
Well, I think we're going to be changing things up a little bit anyway in our next season, where we're not going to be picking a game each. So there will be opportunities where we'll be playing less games but discussing more singular games, so that will give you a bit more time.
And we'll be more up to date. So it won't be like, this game released 4 weeks ago and now we're talking about it. Yeah. It'll be like a week and a half tops.
Play 100 hours of Final Fantasy.
But yeah, when there's games that come out where they're not long at all, I'll be able to sneak a few days in of other games. When
we launch Season 3 it'll probably be about 3 weeks from when this episode comes out, we will have played Art of Rally, Hades, Psychonauts 2. Anything else you can think of that we would possibly played in between? Go on then.
12 minutes.
12 minutes as well will be on there. So there'll be 3 or 4 games where we'll be like, hey, did you miss us? Hades is great. And that will be...
Art of Rally's fun.
Art of Rally is fun.
12 minutes is 6 hours long.
Psychonauts 2. Oh, I can't see anything about that because Double Fine have blocked us on Twitter.
Have they?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
I don't know. I found out today. Someone was like, oh, I can't wait for Psychonauts 2. And the tweet was like, this person doesn't allow their tweets to be seen by everyone. And they blocked us for some reason.
Okay.
It might be to do with Jason Schreier also blocking us. The bastard. But I don't know. I really don't care. But yeah, so Ratchet and Clank. The game that I would like to take over to Xbox from PlayStation, and I'll put the 2 minutes on the clock now, is Spider-Man. And there we go. That's the end of my 2 minutes as well.
They were very quick 2 minutes.
They were. It's like the name of my sex tape. Yeah, Spider-Man. I love the Spider-Man games. It's the only game I feel that I missed out on not having a PS4 because I don't like The Last of Us. Not a big fan of Uncharted. I don't really get on with third-person action-adventure open world games. So Horizon,
like God of Wars.
God of War never really interested me that much. Horizon never really buttered my toast. I played a bit of all of them and never really got much out of them. And then I saw, Marvel's Spider-Man, and I was like, oh, money, exit my bank account. I need a PS4. Yeah, it looks fucking great, and I don't think I need to say much more about that.
Nice common link between our games.
Yeah, Insomniac, you
Yep.
bastards. Having to bloody be part of Sony when we're an Xbox podcast. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
It is weird how it took them this long to become a Sony studio, though.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. They've made Spyro
Yeah,
and then Ratchet and Clank,
yeah.
and they didn't become a Sony studio until Spider-Man.
And, until after Sunset Overdrive, which I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure was an Xbox exclusive.
Xbox PC. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have Spider-Man every single day of the week, please and thank you. I can't warrant myself buying a console just for one game. I made that mistake with the Switch, thinking like Breath of the Wild, that's supposed to be amazing, and it was the only game I had for my Switch for about 6 months, and it bored the absolute anus off me. But yeah, Spider-Man just looks great. I've heard great things about Miles Morales.
Morales is amazing.
And yeah, that's my choice. So I think that's it for today, isn't it, Shaun?
I believe so.
We've offended a
We've
few
gone
more
over
people.
the hour mark. Yeah, got the offences in.
Yeah, and we've gone over everything we can. So
Yeah.
congratulations for Enter the Coin Tricks, which is really going... I'm not even going to tell Shannon. She's...
Do we get to vote on that one?
What do you think she'll say? Yes, no, or laughter. And on that, keep on listening.
And keep on gaming.
In-person podcast. Look at that. In the bag.
Boom.
Back of the net.
Where's my stop?